Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're a new subscriber, thank you for stopping by. If you want to join my family, all you just have to do is click that subscribe button. Today I'll be showing you guys how to make 3 easy yummy bread breakfast recipe to spice up your breakfast, to spice up your bread, to make everything yummy and delicious. So here are all of the ingredients we are going to be using today. So for our bread first recipe, we're going to be using some cheese and sausage. I already pre-cooked or fried my sausage so it's not raw. We're also going to be using lettuce. You can use parsley if you want, but I don't really like the taste of parsley, so I didn't use it. For our second recipe, we're going to be using some shredded chicken, some scotch bonnet pepper, some spring onions, yellow pepper, and chopped onions. We're also going to be using some ketchup, all ground spice, chicken seasoning, dried thyme, and curry powder, and also mayonnaise. We're also going to be using some seasoning cubes and salt. So I'm going to be using the seasoning cubes and salt for my second and my third recipe. For the third recipe, we're going to be using some tomatoes, some scotch bonnet pepper, some yellow pepper, and green pepper. We're also going to be using eggs, also some chili pepper and white pepper. And I showed you guys this where I got it from. I got it from ShopRite in one of my vlogs, and I'll put a link in the description box if you haven't watched that. And the most important ingredient is bread, of course, because without your bread, you can't do anything with all of those ingredients. So this is everything we are going to be using today, and it's about to be fun. It's about to get lit. Alright, so for the first recipe, I'm just going to be using 3 slices of bread, my cheese and sausage, and some olive oil. You can use butter. I didn't have butter at home, and that was why I didn't use butter, but if you have, I recommend that instead of the olive oil. So I'm just going to cut or remove the edges of the bread like so, and I'm going to set aside. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll out the bread. I'm going to make it as flat as I can. And I'm going to repeat the process for everything. Next up, I'm going to put some olive oil in my veggie, and like I said, if you have butter, you should use that. I really and highly recommend that. Butter is more sticky, so you should use that if you have any at home. So now next up, I'm just going to take a slice of bread, and I'm going to put some cheese on it and my sausage, and I'm just going to roll it like so. So I'm just going to put my lettuce and my oil, just to keep the edge together, and I'm just going to give it some good massage and repeat the process for everything. So now I have my pan, and I'm just going to put a good amount of oil, not so much because I applied, or I used or brushed my oil already on the surface, on the outer part of my bread, like this. As you can see, put some lettuce as well. So now I'm just going to fry. And you have to make sure that you give this like touch and give it a good turn from time to time. Say after about 30 seconds or about a minute, depending on how your heat is. If your heat is on a medium or on a low, depending on how you do it. So as you can see, everywhere is brown, and we're just going to move into our second recipe. So now I'm just going to fry up my onions with some olive oil, of course, my Scotch bonnet pepper, basically I'm going to be adding everything that I showed you guys in or for my second recipe. I'm just going to make sure everything cooks. Nothing is crunchy, nothing is soggy, just in between and yummy and juicy. You guys, I don't know why I love to use those words, but I guess that's just what describes it for me. So all I'm just gonna do here is spice it up. I'm not letting it cook for a very long time, by the way. Like I said, just giving or leaving everything in between so it can have a good taste. Now that we're done cooking that, I have some leftover lettuce and some olive oil in it. So I'm just gonna make my whole combination inside of this bowl. So I just put in some mayonnaise, and I'm just going to give it a good mix. Next off, I'm going to take a slice of bread and rub some ketchup on it, like so. And also on the other side. On the other side, I'm not going to put so much because I realized I put so much on the first slice, so I don't want it to be, all ketchup-y, if there's a word like that. So I'm just going to, putting my mix on a slice like this, and make sure everything is well distributed. And I'm going to heat up a pan with some oil and make sure it's hot enough, and place my bread to fry for about 2 minutes, about a minute and 30 seconds to 2 minutes, and nothing more than that. And now that I'm sure that the first side is all crunchy and brown, as you guys can see, I'm going to set this aside and move over to my third recipe. For the third recipe, we're going to be eating some eggs, and I'm just going to add my spices, my seasoning. Gonna season the eggs, put all the necessary spice that I need. And all of the spice that I'm using is completely optional, depending on what works for you. And now I've added all of my vegetables, and I'm going to give my egg a good whisk. And now my pan is all heated up with a good amount of oil as well. and I'm just going to introduce my egg to my pan. So what I'm doing here is just basically making sure that the egg or both sides of my bread actually has a feel of that egg. And I cut my bread into two because I realized that my pan was smaller than I actually thought. So if you have a bigger pan, you might just use, or you can use, 2 slices of bread, but I'm fine with this. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put cheese slices each on each side of the bread, and you can do this after turning your bread, but I don't know, for some reason I just really like the feel or the taste when I have a bite and the first thing I bite is, or have a taste of, is my cheese. But you can put this inside if you want. This looks amazing, you guys. So here you have it, your 3 easy breakfast recipes. This just really changes everything. I hope you guys really liked this video. If you know you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and also let me know in the comment section. And if you try this recipe out, please don't forget to tag me on Instagram, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.